Hey guys, so we have looked at dragons, we have drawn dragon's eyes, and now we get to do one of your favorite things, model magic. Oops, let me show you. There it is. And so I've been holding off on this because how to get it to you has been a bit of an issue. But we are going to be using model magic, and we're going to use white because we're going to transform the white into any colors we want using markers, or you can also paint on it once it's dry. I'm going to demonstrate using the markers to color the model magic. You're going to each get one of these beauties, and if for any reason you can't get one, pretty simple design. You can draw it on a piece of paper, get that eye. Oops, there we go. It's basically just like a disc. You see it's a little flat like a cookie, rounded at the top. It's a glass kind of bead, and I got them on Amazon. They're super cool. And they're 25 millimeters. So if you're someone who goes, this is my career, I'm going to make dragon eyes, you can just order it right on Amazon. So I'm going to use a green eye here. So I'm going to just look and see which colors would work well. So something in the red family would look good, but I could also stick with cool colors. Not really a requirement. So when you look, I created a base for the eye where it went, and then I created an upper and lower lid. It's a little bit hard to see here because I kind of got carried away trying out some of the designs I saw. My first try. I'm sure each time I do it, I'll get a little bit better. I would suggest working on a piece of a paper plate or a piece of an index card because, as you can see, it's dried to my board here. So I'll have to wait for it to dry to lift it up. Otherwise, I'll end up ripping it. So I'm going to leave that there. So first things first, we're going to want to pick our dragon's eye out. We're going to look at some samples of different dragon's eye, and I'm going to show you how you're going to make just the base shape. So I could keep it plain or I could color it. So I think I'm going to go for a blue base. So to make model magic color, you can just color on it and you can leave it solid, but that's not how we do things. We like to actually transform the clay. We don't want to turn it so that it's just on top, although that's totally doable. We roll it up, roll it out, blend, blend, blend. You can pull. This is so much fun to even work with before you put it together. So by all means, have some fun before you begin actually turning it into a dragon's eye. You don't have the same time limits, I don't think, but you can see how it's already transforming to a light shade of blue. Even though I did a darker shade of blue, you see how it's getting on my fingertips? You can avoid that by going like this. If you color in and then you fold it, that's going to keep it off of your hand. So just a little tip somebody taught me, and I'm going to pass it on. So I'm going to keep doing it. You can blend colors. What if I said, hey, you know what? I want purple too. It's a good mixture. They're in the same color family, so those will blend nicely. I could marble it, which means that once I put it together, maybe I don't want it to mix all the way. Maybe I want it to be that you can see, you see how it's starting to blend? Marbling it means that you don't blend it all the way. You're leaving some of it unmixed, so you get that kind of result. You can go for that. I'm going to add a little more purple, and I like to just tap it in. You can color it like this. I just want to make sure that I don't damage my markers. So I'm going to leave it like that. Whatever I get is going to be good enough for me. I'm going to blend it, maybe leave it a little marbled. And that is about the size of my base. So this, plus this and this, have come out of that one tiny little package. So I'm going to be able to make two eyes. I'm going to be able to give you one eye in the packet, but you can always make a second one, or you could make it bigger if you choose, or you could make it smaller and make yet another one. So there it is. I'm going to press it kind of flat. I'm going to just kind of give it a nice base, and you can shape it any way you want. It doesn't have to be too perfect because you're going to be putting a lot on top of it. So you'll see I pinched it a little bit more here. Maybe this time I'll leave it a little more round like a lot of the samples I saw. Once I'm sure I have it the way I want it, I'm going to put my eye on it. And the nice thing about it is with Model Magic, you don't even need glue. It'll stick as long as you're working wet. So once I've done that, I'm going to decide on the upper and the lower lid. So let's say I go with purple. It's going to take me a minute. And again, I could do some blending if I chose. I think I'm going to keep this solid purple. Get a lot of purple in there. Fold it over. I don't mind getting a little messy, so I'm not too particular about folding it in. I like to sometimes just roll it back and forth. Oh, look, I said what I said you shouldn't do, which is to leave it on your, put it right there. So I'm gonna blend, and I actually think I have enough for 2 lids. So let's test it out and see size-wise. That is, you see the size I've chosen? So I'm gonna just break it in half. And maybe, actually, you know what? No, because I did that before and it made for a very thin eyelid. So I'm gonna thicken up the eyelid, because if I'm really thinking of a dragon, I'm thinking that it probably has, what do you call it? It probably has pretty thick skin around there because it's scaly. Although you can do the eyelid thin, and then you could just thicken it up with adding scales or details like this. You'll see I twisted some of the colors, so I probably should have, let me see. I'm gonna do a little bit of purple and I'm gonna blend them. And I'm just gonna equally divide them because I wanna have a little bit more. Blend, 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 blend. Upper and lower lid, here we go. I'm gonna leave a little piece off because that's going to be some of my scaling. That one I said I'd blend. And so, let's see. I don't mind if it doesn't all mix, but I'm gonna break it in half. And it's gonna be kind of what an eyelid would look like, top and bottom. I'm gonna make it flattened out. And you could just pull, shape it any way you want. It's gonna be like a long, stretched out shape like that. Kind of looks like a card too. And then you're going to put it above. And the nice thing again is that with Model Magic, it blends and holds without any glue. So there's the upper lid. And now I'm gonna do the lower lid. And as I said, I wanted to see some of mine marbling, so I'm okay with that. You may decide to blend it a little more solid like I did here. Same idea, lower lid, stretch it out a little bit. Whoop. Almost like a smile. And then I'm gonna just push it down a little bit because I don't want it to cover so much of my beautiful eye there. I'm just gonna pinch it into place. And so that is the start of my dragon eye. So you'll see here that you could go in and you could add either, you can draw right on Model Magic. You see here I'm going in and I'm adding some dots with the purple. You can use a pencil tip. So if I took a pencil tip, I could add texture like I did here, like this. Maybe I want to add just texture along that area. I could do that. And also I could add little scales. Now you could do scales 2 ways. You could have them where you kind of make them in a circle, press them, and then add them. I probably would suggest doing it in a different color because you can see that as I'm doing it now, because I'm using the same color, it's just kind of blending in. Gives it nice texture, but maybe go for a different color. But the one thing I was talking about was where if you blended 2 colors together. So I'm going to take 2 colors. I have my purple and I'm going to do my blue. I'm going to blend it. And then I'm going to twist them together. So I have purple and now I'm going to have blue. I'm going to coil them. That means I'm going to roll them like that. Oops, let go. Coil them, and I might stretch them out. And when you're stretching it out, use your fingers like this and then stretch them, and that'll make your clay a little bit longer. So I'm kind of like pulling, twisting, and it's stretching it out equally. If you notice that one side's thicker than the other, just go over to that section, stretch it out a little bit. I'm going to put them together, boop, like that, and then I'm going to twist them. And you can twist them any way you want. You can do them in your hands like this. I kind of like that effect. And now you don't need a sharp knife. You could use a pencil. You could use anything really. You could even use your fingernails just to break it in half. I'm just going to use this pencil like that. I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to put half here. Oops. Like that. And I'm going to do the same thing at the top. And you can twist, obviously, any way you want. Like that. And I do want to see that eye, so I'm going to open it up a little bit more while it's still not dry yet. And then to add on any of these little pieces, you could just go in and you can basically make them almost teardrop shape. So depending on, I'm going to make this like that. And you remember when we drew them, we gave them those little tiny horn kind of things. You'll just make it a little pointy on one side. And you can just add a bunch of these all over. It's certainly not the only way. If you look up DragonEyeModelMagic, you will see loads of examples. As much as I love this, I did not invent it. I've seen it, I loved it, and I wanted to try it too. So I'm just kind of poking them on. They will stay. You'll notice they'll stick without much effort, but they will be kind of delicate. So if you want to make sure they don't fall off once they dry, I would suggest kind of joining them a little bit more than I'm doing it here. So you could actually just push them together if you want and let them overlap. It's really up to you. Okay, so have some fun making your dragon eye. Let it dry completely before you try to lift it. As I said to you, right now this is sticking here. It's going nowhere till it's dry. I would put it on something so that, you know, it's not sitting on the dinner table, but pretty cool, right? You can definitely go back, add more details. Maybe I want my scales just to be kind of a dotted pattern along here. You can go in and add texture. And there's lots of different ways to do texture. I could do texture even on top of here if I wanted to. Endless possibilities. I look forward to seeing your finished piece. Have fun.